One thing that's been on my mind lately is somebody that trains people to sell on Amazon and sell online is why do we see so many people actually fail in e-commerce? And so I really think that I've gotten it down to the process of what the reason is for why people are failing whenever they get into a business that has a lot of success stories and has a good track record of being a successful business model for people. Why do we see so many people fail? And so today I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more. And so this actually goes not just for Amazon sellers, which is the majority of my audience. It goes for if you're a drop shipper on Facebook. It goes for Shopify store owners. It goes for just about anything. ClickFunnels people and all the different models that exist out there. So that's why I titled this, Why Do Most E-Commerce Sellers Fail? Is because we see this across the board in most industries. Now, if we just first off take away the fact that sometimes there are just truly some bad courses that exist out there. Now, those bad courses are going to keep you from being successful. So we really want to take this off the table because ultimately that's not a situation that I'm talking about. I'm talking about places where you've got a good course, you've got an excellent community behind you, and ultimately what is the reason that some sellers succeed and some sellers fail? Because ultimately we want to get people to the successful level of being able to maybe quit their jobs or hit their particular goals or whatever else that might be. And so in this, we're going to be discussing some of the reasons why I see that e-commerce sellers fail on any different business model that has a good track record of success. So first, I'm going to, obviously make it kind of a foundation that you do need to have a good course, a good learning opportunity that is backed by a lot of success stories. Okay. So if you have this in place and you know that there are success stories in the community and you can see them, you can hear them, you can actually approach these people and you know that they're legitimate success stories, then you've got a good foundation for moving forward. Now, if that is the foundation, then that's all that you need to know that, all right, these are the next things that I need to do from a step standpoint to make sure that I'm not one of the people that actually fail, because there are people that are going to be successful and then you take a look and there are people that are going to take the same exact course and they're going to fail. And there's a commonality between all of them that I see. And now, if we were to take a look at all of these different businesses, typically over a long enough time horizon, right? Whether that's a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And if you can go all the way out till maybe you get to, a whole year or beyond a year, here's where I typically see that we've got sellers that will start out most of the time at this same level. And they kind of pitter along for a little while and maybe have a little bit of success and they start doing a little bit better. But then sometimes the difficulties and the stresses of running a business cause these sellers to get to a certain level after 3, 4, 5 months. And they start to say, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and quit. This is not getting me to that level that I ultimately wanted. And so I'm going to quit. This is where the people that fail ultimately end up giving up. And so the business model doesn't work for them. Maybe they blame it on Amazon, or they blame it on the platform, or they blame it on Meta and the ads that they're able to run or not able to run, because people quit a little bit too early. But if you were to look at a long enough time horizon for people that are successful in any online venture, they typically will have some sort of up and downward trajectory that follows the same pattern, whether you're somebody that quits or someone that succeeds. But the people that end up failing quit early. They quit way too early before they've ever hit any of those things that they need to actually see that skyrocketing growth. And so what I've seen is the people that are the most successful will have a similar pattern for the first 3, 4, 5 months. And then as the other sellers start to quit, they continue on. They continue to see a little bit more success and maybe drop down a little bit more. And then one day things start to really click and they start to see this much more upward trajectory in their business. So these are the people that are successful. They stuck it out for a long enough time horizon to see that work. Now, if you are in a side hustle or in a business that you're trying to be successful with, you need to give it enough time to work. And if you're looking for something that is 2 to 3 months of a time horizon, you're never going to see that work. I have been doing Amazon since 2015. I have gone through the ups and downs of people saying Amazon is done. You can't do arbitrage anymore. You can't do wholesale anymore. Brands are trying to kick you off of this platform, and Amazon does not care about its sellers. However, the third-party sellers continue to grow in terms of Amazon's revenue each and every year. They ignore the facts that Amazon does support sellers. They make it a little bit more difficult from time to time, and yes, we have to pivot, but ultimately people use these things as excuses to give up and quit. Now, if you realize an opportunity is not for you, that's totally fine. You can absolutely stop doing Amazon. You can stop doing your drop shipping or Shopify or whatever it is if you realize that this business is no longer serving you and your goals. I'm not judging anyone for quitting something that they no longer have a passion to do. But if you're someone that's giving up on it because you don't think that whatever you're doing is the right opportunity because you haven't given it enough time to succeed, that is where I feel that the majority of people would, if they were to just give it another year, they would see the success that they're hoping to get. Now, I know this may sound a little bit crazy for some of you that are at the 3 or 4 month mark and you're not seeing that light bulb moment. We hear people all the time in Amazon spaces talk about at a certain point there's a light bulb moment where you're sourcing products or you're reaching out to brands or you're trying to find things at stores and you're just not getting it. But then one day that light bulb goes off and you understand the products that you need to be sourcing and you're finding them left and right and you realize they're on every single shelf almost out there at every retail store, that you can reach out to these brands and get good opportunities. And so just giving yourself that time, that permission to wait for that light bulb moment to happen. Now, the way that you can kind of push that opportunity to happen more quickly, that light bulb moment, is by one, again, having that foundation of a good course that has solid success stories that you can listen to, you can learn from, you can talk to the people in a community. And that brings me to the second point. You need a very good community, and I apologize that it takes me forever to write on this screen, but you need a good community that is able to support you along the way and answer your questions. Now, there are free communities and there are paid communities, okay? Now, from the standpoint of what I recommend for most people, you want to start with a free community, and then eventually, when you feel that you have decided that this is the business for you, then look at being a part of a paid community where people are much more serious about their businesses, they're on the same trajectory, they're all trying to grow and scale together. But this free community is another key component, because if you don't have that support along the way, then it's much more likely you're going to quit when you get to the 2 or 3 month mark, because things are difficult. When you're starting out, it really is a trudge, a difficult road through the mud for most businesses. Whether you're doing drop shipping on Shopify or ClickFunnels and you have Facebook ads running and you're trying to learn how meta ads work and what gets approved and what makes sure that your ad accounts don't get shut down. Or if you're doing Amazon, you're trying to learn what are good products. How do I read a Keepa chart that shows me all the history of the products that I want to sell? How do I know if it's profitable? How do I send stuff in? How do I deal with Amazon and case creation? That's the difficult part, those first few months. If you're looking at your business and you're 2 or 3 months in and you've got a solid course, but you're just not seeing it take off, make sure to lean into that community. Ask questions. The questions are going to lead you to much better results in the future. And so I highly recommend that if you are a new seller looking to get going in a business, you need to be a part of an excellent course with success stories in a community that has people that you can talk to. Now, I do recommend one. It's called the My Silent Team Facebook group. You can actually check it out. It's 75,000 members strong as of the time of this recording. If you go to bit.ly bit.ly/ MST group, okay? Now, this bit.ly/MST group is going to give you the opportunity to talk to people about Amazon and e-commerce opportunities, and you can evaluate what's right for you and what's not right for you. But this will give you the chance to talk to a community so that you can get through these early 3 or 4 months and get to maybe month 6 and 7, so that then that light bulb moment can go off. If you're somebody out there that's looking to just have a quick side hustle that gets established in just a few months and you're seeing a bunch of profits come in, that can happen, but it's rare. And if you're somebody that's out there and you've been doing this for a long time and you just want to give up on doing a certain business model because you're tired of doing it and you want to move on to something else, that's also totally fine. But ultimately, making that decision based off of being surrounded by people that you can know, people you can like and trust, and being surrounded by a good foundational course that can help you along the way is extremely important. So this is a free group, okay? This is not paid. If you're looking for a paid group, then I recommend checking out my Business Building Legends community. If you're into Amazon and Walmart and eBay, that link will be in the description. But ultimately, if you're somebody that is looking to succeed online, you need to give a long enough time horizon for the business models to work, for them to set in, etc. If you think about it in this way, that if you were building a house, right, and you were building a house and you're like, okay, cool, I want to build a house as quickly as possible. And sure, that's an ugly house, so I apologize to anybody that gets this house. But if you're building this house and 2 months in, you've gotten some bricks laid and these bricks are down here and you're like, you know what, this is too difficult. I don't see a house forming. There's no way I can live in this. I'm just going to quit because I don't see myself getting any more successful. It's just going to take forever. Well, ultimately, once that foundation is completed, then you can continue to build up from there. And if you give it a long enough time horizon, or you bring in other people to help speed up that process, then ultimately you're going to be surrounded by enough time. If you give it enough time to work, it should work if the foundation is strong enough, if the methods that you're using are good enough, and if you bring in enough people to help speed up that result so that you can ask questions to them and you can learn from their mistakes and you can learn from their successes. Those two things will lead to that much more exponential growth that you're looking for in your business. But if you were to never know how to build a house and you started trying to lay down some bricks on the ground to build a house and you didn't give it enough time and you didn't bring in people to help you to succeed, then you're not going to. You're just going to give up because you have no idea where to go. But you need to make sure that you give it enough time, you have the right people surrounding yourself, and that's what will make a successful business. That's all I got for you today. Post questions in comments down below. I'll be sure to respond to as many as I can. Thanks a lot.